welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about a recent trip I made to Arundel recently. It was last Thursday. Just trying to find it here. So I took lots of notes. I have actually written a blog article about this, so do go and check out my blog if you want to hear about it in greater depth. I don't often go out on day trips because it is quite hard for me to go out places because of my generally I find it very overwhelming because it takes a lot of planning, and anything outside of my routine is quite energy intensive, so I don't often go places. But it was one of my New Year's resolutions to try and get out more. And recently I've actually exceeded myself because my New Year's resolution was to try and get out about once a month. But lately, in the last 2 weeks, I've actually gone on 2 consecutive outings in the last 2 weeks. Once to Portsmouth, and the next time to Arundel. Now I had loosely been considering going to Arundel for a little time. It had been sort of germinating in my mind, quite loosely though, but I had not fully committed. I decided to have my breakfast to see how I felt. In fact, I came round to the idea fully while I prepared my breakfast. For breakfast, I had 1 slice of toast and a boiled, runny, 3-minute omega-3 egg from Waitrose, which has a super red yolk. I'm trying to have more omega-3 in my diet because omega-3 fatty acids are very good for the brain. They help you think more clearly. I think it's particularly important for people with mental health issues and other neurological conditions as well to try and get more omega-3 in the diet. I also had half a small pot of thick Greek yoghurt with half a can of tinned prunes. Now, tinned prunes are actually very, very nice. I think they're even nicer than the dried ones. I hadn't actually tried tinned prunes before. I don't know if any of you like prunes, or I never used to like them, but they've grown on me. But yeah, if you do like them, do check out your tinned ones. They are really, really nice. I find them a little bit more juicy than the dried ones. To finish off, I had a small bowl of Rude Health, which is a brand, carrot muesli to ensure I will be well fed for my trip, because owing to my OCD, it's hard for me I don't really take many items out with me, food items, because I'm OCD. I worry about them going off, and particularly things I consider to be perishable, so I wanted to be well fed before I left. I left the flat at just after 10 o'clock AM, and I got the 10:40 AM train. On arrival in Arundel, I walked to Swanbourne Lake Lodge along a tree-lined road past the towering vista of the castle. The castle is very beautiful. It's got sort of a gothic aspect. I love Arundel Castle. At the cafe, I had a chocolate muffin with chunks of dark and white chocolate in it and a black Americano coffee. The muffin was very, very nice. I could tell it was homemade. It wasn't shop-bought, it was homemade. I could tell it was homemade. It was really, really fresh and moist. Annoyingly, as I went to find a bench, a woman suddenly appeared with a cocker spaniel on a lead. As I jumped with surprise, the dog barked at me. I have a dog phobia, but I do try and challenge myself by walking past people with dogs, and I thought, oh, it's just a cocker spaniel, what harm? But I didn't. It sensed my surprise, I think, because I was a little bit startled when she suddenly came around the corner with it and it yapped at me. I quickly went back inside. I told the woman I have a phobia as I nervously edged past her to an isolated picnic bench overlooking the lake. The muffin and coffee were really nice, the first time I've had a muffin at Swanbourne. However, I could not fully relax as the woman with the cocker spaniel was sitting not far from me, and the dog barked whenever someone walked past. But it was nice nonetheless, just a little bit tarnished by the woman and her dog. I then walked back towards Arundel town. I popped in to have a quick look at a craft fair which was selling necklaces, scarves, coloured wocks and other odds and ends. I walked up Arundel High Street to the independent bookshop, where I spent a very long time making a long book list in my diary of all the books. The lady running the shop asked me if I was okay, and I asked her if I could make some notes. She said this was fine, but later asked me why I was taking notes on all the books. I told her that I wanted to avoid impulse buying, that I might regret, and I would be able to decide what books I would like to buy for later. I also the other reason why I took notes on the books was because I wanted to see if I could find them cheaper elsewhere, because it was quite expensive at the independent bookstore. I felt a little bit self-conscious now, and felt that perhaps I should buy something as a goodwill gesture. So I bought a book that was reduced from £6 to £3.50, a book containing a list of words borrowed from other languages and their meanings. I thought there would be no harm in treating myself. I felt relatively relaxed while perusing the books. It was very quiet in the bookshop and only one or two other people popped in. I forgot to mention that before going inside the bookshop, I went to the tea and biscuit club shop where I bought some raspberry flavour loose leaf tea. The young lady, the same one who was there last time I popped by, let me smell all the teas again. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Yes, as she passed each jar in turn under my nose. Heaven. After the bookshop, I went inside Pallant of Arundel. Culinary delights. I bought a bay tree mascarpone and tomato sauce, which I've since tried, and it is very, very nice. I think because it's got a bit of wine in it. Because quite a few mascarpone sauces can be a bit bland, but this one is very nice. I'll definitely get it again. Bay tree is a good company. I also bought almond and chocolate biscuits. They are amazing as well. I'm currently halfway through eating the spicy Horsham gingerbread company biscuits I bought when in Horsham in March, and they're a bit disappointing. They're biscuits designed to go cheese, but I don't think they're particularly nice. I won't be getting those again. But the almond and dark chocolate ones I'll show in the next video are absolutely divine. They really are. Pallant is foodie paradise. The shop sells a huge array of quirky artisan products, from olives and gravy to fine teas. I then walked along a side street, feeling increasingly dazzled by the many interesting sights along the way. Oh, I also forgot to say, before this I popped into Kim's bookshop and felt almost elated as I perused the cookery shelf. All those books on cupcakes set my heart a frenzy. I was so happy. I passed an old-fashioned tea room with scones and cake enticing me behind a window. I put a picture of that up on my blog as well. Next up was a whole building dedicated to quirky bohemian antiques, candles and odds and ends. I literally felt as though I had followed Alice down the rabbit hole into Wonderland. The objects in the room all grabbed my attention and I did not know where to look. Periodically I had to stand still and simply stare, spellbound, at the scene in front of me. My brain struggled to process the riot of colour and novelty that permeated every space. There was a room that contained scented candles. One candle said fresh coffee on its label. I took a deep intake of breath. Oh my God! Absolute ecstasy, euphoria, the smell of coffee ice cream, images of ice cream cones on sunny days at the seaside. Again, I inhaled with eyes closed. God almighty. Absolute joy, jouissance, that's the French word for it. The profound bliss passed so quickly, but the trance-like state remained. I even tried to share my delight with one of the staff. It's sublime! Like ice cream cones! I mean cones! My words not making complete sense, so caught up was I in a trance. And then I walked full of intense wonder into a replica of a sitting room, with teaware on the table. Oh joy! Intimations of childhood swept over me as I was brought back in time to my Granny Ruth's sitting room, with her antique comfy chairs and soft cushions. I decided at this point to leave because the intensity of the scene in front of me was too much. I felt a strong need to jump and run. I had such energy, but restrained the urge. Energy released is a dangerous entity, and I worry in case it might completely throw me off balance if I were to take my foot off the brakes. So I walked briskly and found myself in yet another cavern of earthly delights. This time it was a cook shop. Sorry, the pages stuck together. There we go. Now, as my major interest is food and cooking,